story of one of those who was healed by Jesus.
I was healed, no more sores, and I have feeling in my hands and feet. This man, Jesus, healed us, all 10 of us. It's a miracle. After I showed myself to the priests in the temple, like Jesus instructed, I went back to my family, healed. I shared my experience with my family and friends. But Jesus had not only healed me, he had changed me. I had asked, and he had answered. I was so caught up with my own healing experience that I didn't give a thought about going back again to Jesus to thank him. He gave freely. I received freely. But I missed the opportunity to give thanks directly, as the Samaritan had done. I realized that by not going back to give thanks, I had missed the opportunity to receive more blessings from Jesus. I traded going to do what I wanted for having a deeper relationship and interaction with Jesus. I missed experiencing the full presence of Jesus. I wish I had followed the example of the Samaritan.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Muy bien. Good morning. For those who may not know, I'm Andy Apple. I have my name tag on. That thing is dangerous. I'm the Executive Director of Central American Relief Efforts. I serve as a volunteer. I've been involved with C.A.R.E for about 3 years, a little more than 3 years. Today, the message is actually going to be a video, which when I give you the cue, we'll start it. But before we have the video, young man at my side is Justin Geisenberger. Justin has gone to Honduras as a volunteer for 3 years. He is currently a licensed realtor with Coldwell Banker. So anybody who's thinking of buying or selling, I'll do his commercial plug right away. I'm going to let Justin share a few thoughts that he has about his time in Honduras.
Hello everyone, and thanks for having me. I went down the first time 3 years ago. First time I went down with Andy Apple. Had a great time. When I first was going to go down, my parents had to talk me into it, and I didn't think it was going to be fun. I thought it was going to be miserable, and we were going to be sleeping in terrible conditions, unsafe conditions. There wasn't going to be clean drinking water. All I could think about was the negatives. And finally, my parents just said, "You're going down," and they forced me to go down. So I didn't have much of any other choice, but luckily, I was in a great group. I was with this guy, Andy Apple, and another great friend from school, Jack Berry. And I'd say that week was definitely probably the most life-changing week I had in all my life. Just from day one getting there, everything that you see is nothing like what you see here. I mean, it's just everything's run down. There's nothing pretty about it besides the mountains. The first time we were down there, we did, I think, 4 mission days. And the most impactful day that we had down there was a lady. I was translating for doctors down there, and we had patients that looked very sick, and we had one lady who came in, and she looked to be about 80 years old. By the end of the day, she must have looked like she was 40, 50 years old, just from the medicines that we'd given her. There was another girl who had gotten stepped on by a horse, and the Advil that we gave her was enough to save her life just because it reduced the swelling in her head. So if you think about that, we would all be in the emergency room if we got stepped on by a horse. Yet this girl survived on Advil. So it just goes to show how tough they are and how strong they fight to live every day, even though they don't have anything like we do. I was also down, I spent 2 weeks in January this past year and then another week in July in Honduras with Andy. And when we were down there in January, there was another little boy who came in and they carried him, his dad and another man from their village, carried him 14 miles on foot, carrying probably a log about this big with a hammock attached to it. And this boy had an infection about this big from a wound that he'd got while getting surgery at a hospital. And there they don't have ambulances, they don't have access to vehicles. There's only one road that goes to the hospital, and the closest hospital is about 2.5 hours away from where we were at that day. So I remember, we had all the doctors looking at him, and the boy he did not look good at all. And so we picked him up and carried him in, put him in the car so we could get him to the hospital. And I happened to grab his head, and as I was holding, I speak Spanish, and I was just trying to tell him that everything was going to be fine. But you could literally just feel the skin just pulling off of his face as I was holding this boy. And that's something I'll never forget that. And to hear the next day that he was doing well, to see his mom come to us to get more supplies to care for his wounds properly so they didn't get infected at all, was just really amazing. We never thought that he'd make it, and the fact that he did make it was just a miracle. So there's tons of things down there that'll change the way you look at it, whether it be somebody who has medical problems, doesn't have access to clean water, clothes, a home to live in. Just everything you see down there just makes you think about your daily life and everything that you see every day. And I just can't even begin to say how great of an experience it is. And I plan to continue to keep going down, keep serving those people. I still talk to those people. Some of them down there are fortunate enough. One of the guys that works for us owns a two-unit computer cafe with a Windows desktop computer from the 90s, and they're able to contact us on Facebook, which is nice. So I still keep in touch with all of them. Every time I go down, I talk to them like they're my best friends. We eat at the same person's home every night. It's like a gourmet dinner every night down there, gourmet breakfast, gourmet lunch, you name it. That's the real reason I go. No.
Close.
Yeah. No, but actually one of the main reasons I go is because I love spending time with this guy. But yeah, so that was my experience, and I hope to keep going back down and keep making a difference. So,
Thank you, Justin. Why don't you just have a seat, because we're going to take a look at the video in just a second. The video you're going to see is courtesy of one of our board members who gave money to a local professional videographer who came down with us in July. You will see a school that was built by volunteer funds last year. Donations from people at Willow Valley and students at Penn Manor High School. The school that we're helping to build will be virtually identical to the school you're going to see in this video. So, without further ado, Danny cuts me off and we do the video.
We have never really needed anything. Like, we've never had the feeling of like that we have needed something, and to be able to give somebody that is great.
It was what I told myself I should expect, but I don't think I was prepared for what I'd really get to see and just how much it really impacts the way you view things. I didn't know that I'd get to feed 3 kids who haven't eaten in 2 days. And until you experience that, you can't really prepare for it.
It was a day I'll never forget, that's for sure. That was crazy.
Central American Relief Efforts is a nonprofit that's based out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we do humanitarian aid work in the southern part of Honduras, really focusing in the areas of health and education. Yeah. So we got lucky. A big piece of what we do is working with volunteer groups from the U.S. and traveling down to Honduras with them for a week-long mission trip.
We don't really know how we're going to interact with people, how people are going to feel that we're here to help, you know, or if they're going to kind of be a little standoffish. I wonder how it's going to go.
Most of the groups are college groups, and so that ends up being mostly pre-med clubs and alternative spring break clubs. We do also have a lot of high school groups that travel with us, as well as professional groups.
When you work in a developing country, it's very, very difficult because the culture is so much different. And to make sure that you can deliver the services in an accountable fashion, it's a very big challenge. So it occurred to us that what we needed to do was center our attention on some area that we could really affect. And that's why we concentrated our efforts in this county of Choluteca, which is one of the poorest counties in Honduras.
So we received this shipping container with 550 wheelchairs today, and Beatrice left at 8 o'clock this morning to go speak with the people at the customs office at the port, and it's now 4:30, and this is probably about the only container ever to leave in the same day that it arrived.
Free Wheelchairs Missions provides us with wheelchairs. We have another nonprofit organization that provides us with a full container of food.
We have a school lunch program that we were able to do by partnering with an organization in the U.S. that's called Kids Against Hunger.
We pay for the shipping, but they provide us with the food.
We were able to distribute that to 30 schools and give them each a year-long supply, and so now they're able to provide a snack for their kids every day for the whole year.
So it's this ability for us to work with other nonprofit organizations that provide this really big bang for a contributor's dollar with Central American Relief Effort.
Con las comidas que la organización también ha dado a centros de beneficencia, también a escuelas, también ha ayudado a personas de la tercera edad porque es otro sector que está también desprotegido. Desafortunadamente esa es la cruda realidad de nuestro país.
Our organization as a whole is very well recognized and very well respected by the people of Honduras.
The organization is run by a staff person here and an executive director that volunteers his time.
Our funding is totally from personal contributions. We're very careful about the use of our money. We stretch every dollar. We try very hard to show a donor where his or her money went. It might be food, it might be concrete block, it might be toothpaste for children.
One thing that makes us really unique is just the fact that we're working with most of our staff in Honduras. Another thing that really makes us stand out is the fact that we have a Honduran advisory board. They're essentially our eyes and ears in country. They know where the need is and they know where we can be of the most help.
La pobreza de la gente es extremada. Bueno, hoy muy contenta, ¿verdad? Porque soy miembro de la Junta Directiva y me siento con más responsabilidad, ¿verdad? Sobre todo porque ya soy parte, me siento parte del equipo y yo creo que en conjunto con la labor de todos vamos a sacar algo bueno.
1, 2, 3. Tu bandera es una.
We raised about $10,000, and believe it or not, that is a sum that will provide a school building for about 50 students. We rely on contributions. We do not have any government funding.
We built this school there for kids who were previously sitting on the ground to hold class outside because they didn't have a school building. It's a pretty inaccessible area. We provided all of the materials and the community provided the transportation of the materials from the point to which we had to stop driving because the roads were so bad we couldn't get any further, and they also provided the labor. Driving to the community for the inauguration of the school was, I think, kind of touching for the group in seeing that, okay, yeah, we're gonna walk the last maybe half mile or so to get to this community, but think about the fact that every single building material that was brought to this clinic site was brought by someone carrying it.
Es lo más importante para una comunidad, pues, la obra de una escuela. Es lo más importante porque de allí se están educando los niños. Pues. Los sentimos alegres y contentos con ustedes que los apoyaron, ¿verdad? Para lograr de ver esta obra hecha aquí que tanto lo deseábamos.
Volunteers don't need to have any medical experience. We do some basic training with them. The volunteers aren't themselves doing consults with patients.
35 over 82. Gracias.
A lot of times people will walk for hours to get to where we're hosting these medical clinics.
It was shocking. I mean, everyone was there waiting for us, and they kept coming.
You could see it in their face that they weren't comfortable. They were hurting. I mean, really, it is relief that we're giving them.
Para mí significa mucho porque es una gran bendición para nosotros, porque pues, en este país, ¿verdad? Se necesita mucho y a veces ni medicinas hay en los hospitales, en los centros de salud, y que venga esta oportunidad, pues para uno pues hay de aprovecharla porque es una bendición.
Muy difícil de poder creer o entender cómo puede morir un niño por la falta de atención médica, cómo a veces los familiares mismos no lo llevan a los centros asistenciales porque no tienen los recursos.
There was a lot of people that were coming here for the medicines that they needed, and basic medicines like aspirin, Tylenol, cold medicine, things that we take for granted every day, but things like that mean the world to them, and it can be the difference between life and death to them.
Más neurobiome?
No one deserves to live impoverished. It's not fair to anybody.
Well, these people really appreciate us being able to bring them dental, eye care, medical care, and all kind of services we provide for the people. That is very important. And when you talk to the people, they just let you know that and they bless you. It's very important to me that actually do that for Central American Relief, because helping people is something I really appreciate.
I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but like I saw how meaningful it was to people whenever I just say hola or look at them and smile, and so I want to do that even more tomorrow.
We also have a traveling dentist that we work with who goes out into the rural communities and visits schools to do dental hygiene education for kids. So we are still able to have our presence even when I'm not down there and when we don't have volunteer groups down. We have 5 self-sustaining pharmacies that we run in various communities. These are places where there's really not a good alternative for these people to purchase medicine.
That's the first pharmacy by Central American Relief.
Aquí en la farmacia, ¿verdad? Estamos protegiendo a la gente, ¿verdad? Que porque aquí en esta farmacia se encuentra todo más cómodo y entonces la apetecen bastante.
The people they need medicine, they going to Pespire before 4 years ago. Right now, the people buy here because it's more easy, it's more cheaping, they have everything here.
Bueno, aquí en los niños padecen bastante de la gripe, bronquitis, así diarreas, y los ancianitos más, ¿verdad? Que le entran más esas fiebres. Y entonces, bueno, aquí los atendemos con toda. No, todos están bien contentos porque dicen, ¿verdad? Que en vez de ir a Pespire y a gastar más, aquí los atendemos.
We are currently in our 4th year of hosting an English class in the Gustavo Simon School here that's just outside of the town of Pespire.
I have 28 students. I feel proud of them because they want to learn. They want to be someone in life.
Para mí es importante aprender clase de inglés. Quiero aprender un poquito más. Bueno, yo vine caminando media hora.
We start classes at 9 o'clock, and some of them come here at 7, at 8, because they walk from far away.
Y que estos conocimientos van a prevalecer en las mentes de estos niños y que van a ser el efecto multiplicador en la comunidad.
Como comunidad también, porque los niños van contando todo lo que han vivido, todo lo que han aprendido a nuestros hogares, y así desde chiquitos hasta más pequeños van aprendiendo lo que es el inglés. y ellos van desarrollándose con otra mentalidad que es una mentalidad muy positiva.
We feel that what we're doing in Honduras is not only providing, but we're also enabling. We think it's important that what we do will kind of challenge Hondurans to take what we have started and go forward with it.
This morning, we're just standing there waiting, and the little kid's walking to school, and he's tired, and he walks by us, and he goes, "Good morning," in English. And I just thought that was the funniest thing. Everybody's just so friendly.
His word to come, and his word to come and see the people, how warm they are, how welcoming they receive you, and how nice they treat you.
We've really created a very safe environment for our volunteers. We always travel with security. Our Honduran staff is amazing. Marvin and Beatrice and their 3 sons are almost always with the groups, and just really create an environment that makes everybody feel like family. You have good food, you have an air-conditioned room to sleep in at night, but at the same time you're able to go out and see the needs of the very poor communities that also exist in these areas and really go out and do something about it.
This is what we do. And as you saw in the video, there was a school that was built last year, and the Hondurans were so incredibly grateful. And we had the Honduran Advisory Group kind of vets the dozens and dozens of requests we get down there. And one of the requests was from another village. It almost is going to repeat itself. But we can't do that without help. And you're aware of the request that was made earlier this year. And Church of the Apostles has done more than an extraordinary effort here. Gary Brown is going to bring a ceremonial check which represents what Church of the Apostles has donated to build this school. It costs about $10,000 to build a school, and look what Church of the Apostles has done. I think you deserve to applaud yourselves. Do I get it now?
You get it now. And thanks for all the effort you put forth to make this happen, Andy.
Well, believe me, it's easy work. Just as sort of a sales pitch, January 26th through 31st, members of Church of the Apostles are welcome to come to Honduras for the dedication of our school. Kathy and Nate at this point are definites. We would like many more. You will stay in a hotel. You will get safe food. Kathy has forms in her office, so anybody who is interested, get in touch with her. Again, C.A.R.E cannot thank you enough. Amen.
Don't forget to visit us on the web at apostlesUCC.org.